Quit on babysitter because of fight and being ripped off? Another update. After a lot of thinking and discussing things with the most decent people, I know who I trust to be brutally honest with me and have shown to be right consistently. I'm going to contact the grandfather. I found out the mother is hiding a lot from him and he's already suspicious about the kid's situation. And that's why he popped up unexpectedly from the home state. I found someone in the neighborhood who knows her. Edit. Scratch all the below. I'm not playing a pity party, but I grew up in conditions that were far worse than these, and I got tortured and starved and didn't go to school past 8th grade. She isn't violent and he is fed at home. So it didn't click with me how detrimental his surroundings were because of my experiences. I just generally knew they were bad, and she was selfish. My family generally just saw her as a nuisance, and nobody seemed concerned, and that rubbed off on me. After seeing everyone's severe reaction, it's got me thinking this is more than just bad parenting. I really do care about him, and I thought foster care was going to hurt him worse, but I am going to call someone. I am very scared to do so, but I want to. What do I do? Can someone tell me some good things that have happened in foster care? I 27 babysat a woman 39 in my neighborhood's kid for 3 months, including overnight, and collectively made $200 after everything after agreeing to $100 a week. She brought him over an hour to 2 hours early every day and would be an hour to 3 hours late and tried to start a fight with me when I told her to compensate me for the extra 5 extra hours of work, and she told me that she shouldn't have to because, you know, I hitchhike to work. Turns out she actually had a ride most of the time and was leaving early to smoke meth. I also found out she was giving her 3-year-old son coffee before bringing him to me. So he'd crash by the time she got him and would give him things to make him horrifically ishai himself at my house, so he'd be cleaned out when she had him. He could speak a total of 1 word, which was knock. Because at home she kept him in a single room with a phone unsupervised and tried to convince me it was my job to teach him how to speak. I had to teach him literally every ounce of discipline a kid should know, such as not to play with hedge clippers or run full speed into traffic, which she took credit for. She consistently forgot to bring him food or drinks, and then admitted she wanted me to supply that because daycares do it. My family did Easter around him, and we cooked for her and got him gifts, candy, and his own Easter egg hunt. And we bought him a pool, and I picked few rose petals to put in his water, and she complained about both. I canceled on her once because my sibling was mentioning suicide not long after an actual attempt, and her only response was, well, because of you. I now have to call out of work, and I tore into her over that. But me quitting on her happened after she, 1, blamed me for ruining her son's birthday because I had an emergency and had to leave, 2, forgot his food and then flipped out at me when I got mad about it, and then tried to ask other people to watch him who live with me because she didn't trust that I wouldn't hurt her son, which hurt because I love kids. They said no, because she's shady as foo and moved from another state to date some guy in prison and is living in a shack with no AC with that kid. So a month later, she calls me begging me to babysit again this week. And I said no because it's me and my fiance's 6-year anniversary, and I hung up and blocked her number. Honestly, someone needs to take her kid away from her. Though her delusional as will swear up and down, she knows how to raise kids. Edited for spelling, the next story is mistaking who the real entitled parent was. I was flying home yesterday and encountered an M in the wild, but then realized that the M was not the biggest problem. So we board our 2-hour delayed flight due to thunderstorms. Shockingly, the plane was not full before we can make a move and put 7-8-ish kid in the seat right in front of us, despite being 2 seats back and on the other side. Sigh fine. Kids not too bad, but had to have the flight attendant tell them they had to sit up for takeoff. Remember the thunderstorm I mentioned? Turns out the turbulence was bad. We are all waiting for the seatbelt sign to turn off when kid gets up and goes back to him about their music stopping. Fa gets on the speaker and pretty PI off is like, get back to your seat. Kid goes back. A few minutes later, M moves up. I think Faye is just in shock, and Foo, at this time it's an adult. While M is fixing kid's stuffed passenger in row across from kid gets up and pulls something out of his carry-on. Based on the flirting with FAL, let's call him CP. Finally, we get through the turbulence and seatbelt sign is turned off. Woot! Drink service starts. Poor Faye has trouble getting CP to let her get through the service. Kid keeps going back to him and keeps fixing things and trying to get kid to nap a little. I understand we did arrive at 11:30 due to delay. CP gets to drinking and making inappropriate comments to FA. We finally arrive and thank the merciful plane gods are able to take seatbelts off and stand up. We notice CP grabs his bag before seatbelt sign is off and rushes to be first in line to get out. Not sure why it's a tiny airport and no flights until tomorrow morning. And rushes past us to get to Kid. But to her credit does tell us to go ahead. We walk to the terminal and are standing at the baggage belt when M comes in with Kid, and you will never believe it goes up to CP and asks, "Where do you think we get our gate check bag?" CP is actually Ed. I let them know that all bags will come through the one bag belt. I mean, we do have two, but the other one is for northern flights only, and that anything that doesn't will be shoved through the door we just entered by. I can't stress how small our airport is. They are clearly here to visit someone as a lady comes in and hugs are exchanged. Kid tries to hug lady and Ed immediately cuts in and starts complaining about his bag. So in the end, I feel so bad for poor Kid and think maybe M was just doing her best. I mean, Ed was in the same row the entire time and never acknowledged the poor thing or even tried to assist them or Fu even act appropriately in front of them. Kid clearly knew the score and didn't even try to ask him. Moral of the story: don't have kids with D-heads. The last story is, my parents want me to break up with my boyfriend as they think he is disrespectful and manipulative and not a good fit. What do I do? Did it. My parents do give notice, and I always do let my boyfriend know when they're coming over. It's not a surprise. He knew they were over at our house that day. Another edit. I guess I should also mention that my boyfriend isn't always a bad host, but I guess somehow manages to not match up to my parents' expectations of being a host every time, such as not saying come in when opening the door for them. 2, my mom is quite demanding, and so is my dad sort of. It's been hard finding independence and my voice with them. Even moving out was a big deal that I had to convince them about. While they do love and care for me, they do feel like I am still supposed to do what they tell me to do as their daughter. They've improved and loosened their reins on me, but that battle is far from over for me. Also, for AG, my dad forgetting to wish my mom happy Mother's Day or happy birthday as soon as he sees her in the morning has become a huge deal in the past. 3, my mom especially has even lost friendships because of not getting her way and her friend not wishing her a happy birthday, etc. She even seems entitled over whether my brother's fiance wears blue eyeshadow or not. Even if the blue eyeshadow is ugly, I feel like that's not my mom's problem to solve. IF24 have been dating my boyfriend M27 for around 1.5 years now, and he had been introduced to my parents 2 months into dating. I moved in with him 5 months into dating, so have been living together for a year now. Moving in together introduced no issues into our relationship and has been an amazing year. For context also, we all live in London. My family moved here when I was a baby. I am Indian and boyfriend is Fijian Indian, and he has been trying to learn my language as I and my parents would prefer that, mainly to pass down my language to my kids. He comes over to my parents' house. We're weekly language lessons. Although my parents know English, they converse with him mainly but not all the time in our native language to help him pick the language up and expect him to reply back in the same language. The problem is my family is now very against him and want me to break up with him. They say that he's not family-oriented and doesn't care about any and a thing. They gave various reasons for this, including him making us wait for 10 minutes the very first time I brought my family over to his place. We waited in the apartment lobby as he was late and he didn't apologize for his making us wait at all. After this, he has been late to family visits and has made us late to events many times because he showers for too long and generally doesn't manage his time well. It has been annoying and stressful for me to be the one to always nag and keep pushing him to get ready on time. He didn't wish my mom happy Mother's Day and didn't wish my parents a happy anniversary even after he was asked to. Both days my parents were over at our apartment. He wasn't apologetic that he forgot about it either when my mom asked him, "Where's my wish?" He just grudgingly said, "Happy anniversary," him not taking the exit that my dad told him to when he was driving our family. My boyfriend agreed to take this certain exit off the motorway, but ended up forgetting, I assume, and took another one. Him not greeting my parents and saying hi. "How are you?" when he walked into our apartment while my parents were over. He just looked annoyed. Boyfriend said he was tired, but that he did say hi, but I'm not too sure whose POV is right. After boyfriend walked in, though, he proceeded to sit quietly in a corner on his phone and not interact with anyone, which my parents found rude. Boyfriend didn't help to set the table for dinner at our apartment, even after my mom said she was hungry and my parents had to do it themselves. I had popped out to the shops at this time, so I didn't know what happened. I can't tell if my family is nitpicking or if this stuff is actually something that should be taken as an indication that my boyfriend isn't a good fit for the future. I don't want to lose my close relationship with my family, but at the same time, I don't want to lose my boyfriend as I have been happy with him. I am moving out alone soon. Have to appease my parents, but also to experience living alone for a while and to see if the issues died down. I guess some of the problems were also caused by us living together and my parents having to see him every time they came to visit me. Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us today and traveling with us into the world of fascinating stories. Your support and inspiring comments inspire us to keep telling these interesting adventures. Please continue to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get notified of new videos. See you in the next exciting story. Have a great day.